Hello, welcome. I am here to show you how to paint your guardian angel magnets and ornaments that come in the guardian angel art kit. Here's a sample of finished product. A little magnet on the back. Comes with a hook, which you can stick on the magnet to hang on a tree or somewhere else. I'm gonna just angle the camera down so that you can see the details of what I'm doing because these are kind of small. So enjoy. There we go. All right, so first step is to take the stencil, the angel stencil, and put it over one of your heart cutouts. So you want to line it up. You can line up the bottom with a circle, and then you can kind of see through it a little bit so you can see if it's centered. Next, you're going to take your bottle of gloss in the applicator, and if you haven't already, you want to cut off the tip. You want to make sure you cut it off really close to where the line is, where you can see the opening, because the further down that you cut it, the wider the hole is and the faster it will come out. We want it to come out fairly slowly. So you're going to squeeze and get the gloss up to the tip of the applicator. And we're not going to fill in the whole angel. We're just going to do a little bit of gloss and then we're going to spread it around with our brush. So I usually start at the head, just do kind of a circle to fill in where the head is, bring a line down the body towards the skirt, and then just 2 lines to the outside of where the skirt is. And then we're going to do 3 lines in each wing, one at the top, middle, and bottom, and again the other side. You don't need too much gloss, just a light line will do. And then you're going to take your stencil off, take your brush, and a little bit damp, and we're going to spread the gloss around. So starting with the head, you can kind of move that so it's circular, bring it down the body, and then where the skirt starts, just kind of do some rapid kind of brush strokes. We don't want it all filled in solidly with gloss. We want it kind of brushy so that it gets that texture to it. And then in the wings, the same thing. Just bring your brush up and kind of swoosh it around. And imagine you're painting like feathers, like wings. And then the other side, do the same thing. And I don't know how well you can see what I'm doing since it's clear. Let me kind of hold it up for you and you get the outline of an angel. Okay, so what I've done is I've prepared some at the different stages. So I have one here that I had done earlier that has the gloss on it and it's dried. You want to make sure it's completely dry before you move on to the next step. So this has the gloss angel on there, dried. I'm gonna rinse off the brush, and I'm gonna wet both sides of the paper. So this is the reason I do this, is to keep it from warping and curling up so that it lays flat and the paint doesn't pool too much in one place or run off. Another option with the stencil, as opposed to what I just did, is you could take the stencil and you could lightly outline it with pencil and then put your gloss in that way, whatever you feel more comfortable with. So now I'm going to take some purple paint and just kind of do some brush strokes just right over the angel. You can paint right over it because the gloss will resist the paint. And in addition to that, we're going to be going over the angel with white paint later. So we'll be able to make sure that it shows up pretty well. And then since it's wet, the paint will kind of flow together a little bit. So at this point, you could either add blue while it's still wet, let them flow together, or you could let the purple dry and then do the exact same thing again with blue. Or you could start with blue, whatever you want to do. So just all right, and then you're going to want to let that dry completely. So here I've got one that I've already painted. This one I did with a layer of purple, and then once it dried, I did a layer of blue. And you can see how there's paint on the wings and the skirt. So next you want to clean off your brush really well. And we're going to use the white paint. So get your brush a little bit wet and get a little bit of white paint on your brush. Not too much. And I usually start with the head and kind of just paint in. You're not going to completely cover with the paint. It's going to be kind of translucent. So paint the head and bring it down the body, and then do the swooping strokes again for the wings. Kind of make them look feathery. Do a little bit of a dry brush, adds a little more texture to it. And the other side. You can add a little more water if you need to. And then the skirt. Just some loose strokes down. Not covering the whole thing, but just kind of highlighting it so it's a little brighter. All right, you can see how that looks with the white on it. All right, and now I've got one that I've already painted white. So for the next step is the gold. So you've got your little thing of gold paint. You only need the teeniest bit of paint. So you will have some left over. So again, you want to get your brush wet, and then just get a little bit of paint on the tip of your brush, and we're going to outline the angel. So just put a little bit of gold around the wings and a little bit on the edges. Each edge. And obviously you can put as much gold on as you want, or as little. This is your piece of art. And then around the head. And then you can do like a halo at the top. So just kind of just a little ellipse around top to make a halo. Another thing you can do is just put a couple circles around the head. That's pretty too. Or you can play with spirals, or however you want to do it. And you can get your brush, if you get it a little bit more wet, it'll blend in a little bit more if you want it a little less stark. And again, I'm not sure with the lighting how well you can see the gold. And then after that, still using the gold, we're going to take the little heart cutout that you got. And got your toothpick. So you're going to put a little bit of glue on the heart and put it on the angel. So you just need a real small amount of glue. Put it on there, and then you can use your toothpick to actually place it onto the angel. So turn it around, get it right where you want it, and just use your finger to hold it, and then you can use the toothpick to kind of get it in place where you want it. So if you can see that, I've got that right in the middle there. And then take your brush, the gold, and just paint right over that heart. Because it's raised up, it's easy to stay on right on the heart and not paint around it. All right, and then you got your angel with a heart. And finally, the last step is to put some gloss on your piece. So you're going to take your brush, take your applicator, and just dot some gloss around it, and then we're just going to spread it around over the whole thing. Or you could take the tip off and dip your brush in it, either way. So we're just going to cover the whole thing with gloss. So this will give it a nice shine, bring out the colors, and it will also protect it. Give it a nice protective coating when you're using it as a magnet or an ornament. Okay, and then once this layer dries, you want to flip it over and put gloss on the back as well. Okay, so after you get the gloss on both sides, next step is to take your gold pen, shake it up a bit. If it's new, you want to push down the tip to get the paint flowing. Make sure it's flowing before you get started. And then you're just going to take and outline the edges of the circle. All right. There you go. And once that is done, the final steps are to glue the magnet on the back, sign it, and then you've got your hook. Your hook just attaches to the magnet when you want to hang it. And you're all done. Enjoy.